The news just keeps getting worse, no pun intended, but the news just keeps getting worse for the woke media. 2020 was a record breaking year for woke cable news outlets like CNN and MSNBC. For the first time since I can remember, CNN actually ended the year ranked #1 in prime time on cable news. Chrissy Cuomo and Donnie Lemon were dominating the ratings. Rachel Maddow was a superstar. Joy Reid debuted on MSNBC in the summer of 2020 and hit a home run in the ratings. For several months, the rotating wigs entertained viewers on a nightly basis. Lonely men would gather together for watch parties, tuning into MSNBC every night, trying to predict what color Joy Reid would be wearing. The birthing person who guessed correctly was treated to an endless supply of Don's Magic Lemonade, while the losers were forced to man the grill cooking the woke wiener. For a short period of time, Joy Reid was drawing over 2 million viewers. CNN was doing so well, they started preparing the launch of their own streaming service. For 2 years, CNN and MSNBC were selling sympathy and mythical racism, and people were buying it. But like I say on here all the time, sympathy only lasts for so long. Eventually, normal people get tired of constantly hearing about racism. White people grew tired of being called racist. Black people got tired of the media victimizing them. The media, they could have used the tragic death of George Floyd as something to unite the country at a time when we needed to be united the most. Instead, what did they do? The mainstream media exploited his death and used George Floyd to further divide us. Like I said, all of this worked for a short time, but the sympathy well has run dry. The supply of mythical racism has gotten so low, the media is having a difficult time even creating fairy tales of racism. For example, had Jemele Hill released her fictional autobiography 2 years ago, she would have sold hundreds of thousands of copies. She would have ridden her broom to the top of the New York Times bestsellers list. Instead, she can't convince people to accept free copies and failed to make the charts on charts that were invented just for her. Friday afternoon, the annual ratings report was released detailing 2022 ratings in cable news. Now, this Friday afternoon release, this was no coincidence. Anytime the media has to release information and they don't want you to know about it, they release it the day before a major holiday or late Friday afternoon before the weekend. I guarantee you, had CNN and MSNBC performed well this year, this ratings report would be front page news at the New York Times, the Washington Post. It's been 3 days since it was released, both outlets ignoring the report. The only mainstream outlets to pick up the story were the LA Times and Forbes. Last month, after the midterm elections, CNN sent out a press release boasting about beating MSNBC and proudly announcing they were #2 in the ratings. Yeah. Ratings have gotten so bad at CNN, they're bragging about being #2 in a class of 3. This is like the worst player on the worst team bragging to his friends about receiving a participation trophy. We might have lost every game, but I'm still a winner. I received a trophy just for showing up. Both CNN and MSNBC, they showed up every day for a dominant ass whooping. Fox News, once again, the #1 network in cable news. Fox averaged 1.4 million total day viewers, doubling the 733,000 from MSNBC, damn near tripling the absolutely pathetic 568,000 from CNN. TV shows get canceled all the time for averaging 500,000 viewers. The reboot of 90210, canceled. Lodge 49 on AMC, canceled. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, they produced a show called Incorporated. It aired on the Sci-Fi Network. Sci-Fi! A network that typically struggles to find enough viewers to fill the percussion section for the Bongo Festival. Incorporated averaged 500,000 viewers on Sci-Fi. They canceled it for low ratings. When it comes to ratings in prime time, the news gets even worse for the shit fucks. Fox News averaged 2.3 million, 346,000 viewers falling in the key demo. Now those numbers are down 1 and 7% from last year. Obviously, you want to see your ratings going up, but when you compare these declines to the declines of the other two networks, Fox has nothing to complain about. MSNBC, 1.2 million, 133,000 in the key demo, down 21 and 39%. CNN, 730,000, 174,000 in the demo, down a staggering 33 and 36%. Now, if you're CNN President Chris Licht, I suppose you can look at the lone positive here. Since you like celebrating being second loser, CNN did manage to beat MSNBC in the key demo in prime time. That's great. Your almost nothing was better than MSNBC's nothing. Now, anytime ratings are poor for one of their golden cucumbers, the media likes to blame cord cutting. Our ratings are down because people just don't have access to us anymore. If that's the case, how come CNN Plus was a huge embarrassing failure? If all the viewers are streaming and your content is so demanded, how come people were not willing to part with $5 measly every month to watch captivating CNN garbage? If your content is entertaining, people will watch you. Ted Turner used to always say the news is the star of the show. Now that statement is partially true, but you have to have charismatic, relatable personalities to deliver that news. CNN used to have that. They used to have stars. Tucker Carlson, Glenn Beck, Larry King, Soledad O'Brien, Nancy Grace. Today you have Jake the Bongo Tapper, whose experiment in primetime lasted a whole 30 days before he tapped his bongo for the final time. Now sometimes I like watching Glenn Beck, but sometimes I think Glenn Beck is out of his mind. But you know what? At least he's entertaining when he's insane. Check out some of these clips from CNN and MSNBC from this year. You tell me if this is entertaining news. Roll them.
Oh, totally crazy. Forget I'm a lady. Your man shirt, short skirts.
Yeah, I like that part.
Oh, and man,
I feel like a woman. Bum, bum, ba-da.
Yes, you got the guitar part too.
That Simpsons episode in Hong Kong disappeared like Peng Shui, disappeared like citizen journalist Zhang Zhan, whom the Chinese government has locked up for telling the truth about COVID-19, disappeared like the consciences of the millionaires and billionaires in Hollywood and the NBA and the IOC and Wall Street are all so eager for Chinese cash. They are pretending none of this is happening. There is no amount of money that can buy enough soap to wash that blood off their hands.
Somehow they managed to stumble into the Supreme Court. Do any of you guys trust Uncle Clarence and Amy Coney Barrett and those guys to actually follow the letter?
All right, yes, I know. Megyn Kelly, the blackface expert, had a lot to say about me this week based on something I actually never said. So I just want to tell her, you swung and you missed. Please, girl, move on with your life. It's giving obsessed. And honestly, guys, the Jesus and Santa are white lady is not going to crawl her way back to social relevance on my show. Besides, didn't I murk her once already?
Not surprised by the racism that Megyn has received because she's been attacked and attacked and attacked in the tabloids. And every black woman knows what it's like to be thrown down as the angry woman, as the bully. It's always that the other princess, William's wife is the poor victim of this vicious black woman who's bullying her and hurting her. It was easy to see how this was coming, and you can see where they were coming from. I was not surprised by it.
Both MSNBC and CNN, they achieved the same accomplishment this year. Both networks set record low ratings. In the 40-year history of CNN, 20-plus year history of MSNBC, there has never been another time where less people are watching their garbage. After watching that compilation that I just showed you, it's not hard to figure out why. You know what the #1 show in cable news is today? The Five. The Five doesn't even air in prime time. It's on in the middle of the afternoon. Most of the country's at work. The Five draws a larger audience than primetime shows on CNN and MSNBC combined. Why? Because you have 5 personalities that people can relate to. How many people can relate to Anderson Cooper? Chris Hayes has the charisma of a baboon. Most people delivering the news on CNN, MSNBC, they're delivering the news in a condescending tone. They treat you like you're stupid. They're telling you what to think instead of letting you decide how to think. This is what Chris Licht has been trying to fix at CNN. Yesterday morning, the New York Times published a lengthy expose on Chris Licht in his first year as president at the network. This dude left a cushy job as executive producer of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert to take responsibility for a WNBA-level dumpster fire. Stephen Colbert begged Chris Licht not to take this job. He essentially told him no amount of duct tape will patch the holes in this Titanic. Chris Licht is trying to do something that I don't think has ever been done in cable news. I don't even know if it's ever been attempted in cable news. In the interview with the New York Times, Chris Licht said he is taking CNN in a direction where he's targeting normal people. He used those exact words, normal people. I wonder where we've heard that terminology before. This new direction for CNN, it all sounds great, but we're almost 12 months into it. I'm still struggling to see a new direction at the network. I understand it takes years to completely transform a network like this. If Chris Licht's able to do this, he'll become the first man in history to eradicate the woke fungus. As you guys know, once you become infected with the fungus, your days are usually numbered. I'm struggling to understand this new identity at CNN. You fire the donut diva Brian Stelter, essentially replacing him with Chris Wallace. At least Brian Stelter related to the shitfucks. No one cares for Chris Wallace. I have not once heard one person say they were entertained by Chris Wallace singing Shania Twain and admitting to the world he feels like a woman. It has been over a year since Chris Cuomo, the inventor of shirtless selfies, was fired by CNN. 13 months! And they still haven't found a replacement? You mean to tell me you couldn't find someone willing to take a job in primetime television in 13 months? Your best solution was Jake the Bongo Tapper? The biggest problem at CNN, they don't have an identity. What is the identity of the network? MSNBC, they appeal to identifiers and woke celebrities. People like Howard Stern enjoy being brainwashed by Joy Reid and Tipper the Bongo Sniffer. Fox News appeals to conservatives who think the country's on the brink of disaster. CNN, they want to attract the other 70 to 80% of the country. But in order to attract normal people, you need a leader that is a normal person. Now, I don't know the personal views or politics of Chris Licht. For all I know, he might be worshiping Jesus on Sunday morning, or he could be handing out free drag show tickets to children. I don't know. All I can go off of to determine his normality is where he's worked throughout his career in the media. He started his career working local affiliates in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Not off to a good start. 2005, joins MSNBC. Eventually becomes the executive producer of Morning Joe. 2011, joins CBS News. 2016, becomes the producer of Stephen Colbert. Now, judging by all this, Chris Licht hasn't been around a normal person in over 20 years. So how can he be expected to shape a network that appeals to normal people? That would be like me creating a channel that appeals to the shitfucks. I ain't qualified. Anyway, give me your thoughts. Both CNN, MSNBC, record low ratings in 2022. Give me your reason why. Is it cord cutting? Is it just their crappy content? Now, MSNBC's doing okay, but can CNN at this point be saved? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.